afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacast from your host, ImperialDane, Master Propaganda, Hero Psych, Defender of the Fatherland. Off here to an exciting 2 versus 2 on a crossing in the woods. The setting is 1944, somewhere on the Western Front near the German-French border. The Americans and the pattern are pushing forwards. The first armoured division is making progress steadily, but is now encountering a German force ready to destroy the Allies, at least die trying to. In the south it's Artavick and Dr.Beer here fighting for the first armour with heavy cavalry, double infantry and also double heavy cavalry, rifle and airborne. Whereas the north, the Wehrmacht, double Wehrmacht in fact, the German army here, the 116th Panzerdivision Winhund with me using encirclement, Jaeger Infantry mobile defence with Jaeger Armour, Blitzkrieg and Lightning War here for Zodiak with machine gun Stug, Panzergrenadier infantry bulletins there versus light infantry and a single 50 caliber rear bulletins there for the Allies. Gunner the MD4 2000 gets down the South Pioneers versus rear echelons. The machine gun crew following up here, aggressively in the east. Zodiak is moving up as well. The Grenadiers MD4 a bit more slow pace. They just tried to rush here, trying to get to the house. Sandin, though, in this case, Dr.Beer managed to kick in the door. Rather rapidly following up here for Dr.Beer. Machine gun moving up, trying to catch any infantry. In fact, will be trying to move about here as anticipated. He'll be shifting that up there. So I'll try to set the machine gun here. In this case, though, it's going to take a further path. Probably anticipating such a move, in fact. And there goes the MD4 fires, but in this case, doesn't get enough time to actually suppress the unit. Still, finding a viewpoint here, Grenadiers moving up. No, I'm not repositioning the machine gun like this immediately because I'm worried there might be another rifle that could try and take advantage of me trying to deal with this over here. So I'm keeping that clear. At the same time, the mortar word he might try and flank up for him. You can see, in fact, Dr. Beer is in fact doing that. In the centre, Zodiac there has not decided not to go straight for the eastern fuel point. Instead, now focus more on the centre. Perhaps realising he's not going to push for that and leave me to get a fuel point. That is a possibility there. Second Grenadiers got their rank for the German army, moving up here slowly, rifling down south to securing territory. And the reason to find from the Grenadiers, I don't see the rifling back, but I'm still going to be cautious. I'm not entirely sure where they are. They could be hiding somewhere, so best to not just rush in. Grenadiers moving up in machine gun now repositioning with Grenadiers got actually to cover the flank, and then trying to move the machine gun about a bit more freely. No, I'm not doing it too far either. But at least enough to sort of somewhat cover the flank here. Pioneers reinforcing, getting ready, Grenadiers about to flush out the rear echelons. Rather than setting up for possibly a deep flank, possibly again anticipating much be shifting on the machine gun. Of course, that's sort of the guesswork there with the Wehrmacht. How they're going to be situationing their machine guns. Will they be able to anticipate your flanks? In this case, I'm not anticipating this particular flank there. So good work there by Dr.Beer and on the machine gun on the way there, since I'm realising out against a lot of rifling, in which case you generally want more than one machine gun to stop that. I'm putting out the machine towards the Grenadiers, which actually seriously wipe out the rear echelons. A small victory for Deutschland. You can see here that Dr.Beer is going to flank behind rather than trying to engage around the machine gun. Good move. Keeping the machine gun in case more troops may arrive here, though we'll see what they actually do. Pioneers occupying the house here, and Dr.Beer there with a very strong flank against me. Grenadiers moving up close. In this case, you kind of have to, otherwise we'd just be out in the open. Of course, this quickly turns against me, and the machine gun down here to sort of try and move in. But again, I'm worried about the potential of some additional unit attacking up from south, though there is none. But that's basically what I'm operating with. Grenadiers being pushed back now, the machine gun on the way, finally arriving here. But meanwhile, though, Dr.Beer is very successfully just flanking around there and completely catching me off guard. In the east, Zodiac is going for a sniper. They're pushing against the Americans here. There's a bit back and forth, but it's not so far making a lot of progress. He's so far, I think, relying mostly on trying to bleed out his opponent. Machine gun staying on the rifle here, back here, healing reinforcement. Oh, reinforcement was going for the Grenadiers. Pioneers can occupy the house most because if he gets into that, things get a lot more difficult for me. So I'm just occupying the house no matter the cost. Machine gun doubling back into the house here to at least ensure he can't get to the fuel point easily. Rather than doing this, the Pioneers here. And we got some suppressor from the rifle there. Other rifles got going flank up behind here. Gonna leave them up to cover the flank there for it. No take over yet. Might in fact go for another Grenadier spot first, getting 3 Grenadiers, 2 MD42s. In the east, Zodiac is finally pushing back. Artavick there. There you go around trying to flank up. They're taking fire there from the Grenadiers as they focus on the machine gun crew. So 3 shots there for the Grenadiers. They go force right in front of the machine gun. Pioneers continue to occupy the house, but they are now close to death. Still going to be able to connect the field here. Mortar moving up there for Dr.Beer. In the east, centre being grabbed here by the rifleman. And Artavick, Zodiac is slowly moving up there as well. Rather than now pushing out the Pioneers, finally sliver of health. They actually got a bit lucky, to be honest. Looks like I am just in fact taking out. Now I'm going to go for the additional Grenadier squad there. Rather than falling back, and there go rearson reports as well. Some heavy fighting here on the western side of the map. Over here, machine gun occupying the crossing there. With snow backing up the Grenadiers for Zodiac. Grabbing these some fuel, putting a wiring off the cover, well, the other side of the cover, since the first bit's wired off as well. And I go for the first auction. I go for Jaeger Infantry with the G43s versus all these riflemen that Dr.Beer is throwing at. It gives me more grenadiers, more firepower on the move, which I value as being more valuable in this matchup. Plus the option of the Jaeger Command Squad, which is a pretty good unit in a lot of situations versus aggressive American play, which is so far what I'm experiencing from Dr.Beer. So that's basically what I go for there. Could have gone for the same circlement, but I value in this case the G43s and the Jaeger Command Squad a bit higher now. Plus, close the pocket is less impressive on a smaller map like this, so there's another reason I don't go for that one. Otherwise, I do like encirclement, but you know, sometimes you just go for what's right. Plus, you still get ambush training, which is still one of my favorite abilities. Like machine doing the rifling here, that also means I will be getting ambush camouflage up on my MG42s. Rifleman up here. Gun that is reinforcing, got the light to make a nice company up, could go for 2-2. Panty on it is with the 250 half track. Machine gun one down, we got the anti-aircraft uptake out here for Artavick, tearing into the crouch, the Germans. A rapid strike here from Artavick. In the west, Rifleman pulling up there with a big push here with the 10 back up, but there you go, machine gun appearing out of ambush, striking at the unsuspecting Americans. Yeah, you didn't see that one coming, now did you? The Americans did not make a lot of use of camouflage in the Second World War, not on the Western Front at least, because the Germans were more known for using it, so when they actually tried it out, they actually suffered a lot of friendly fire incidents. So they dropped camouflage for the time being. Little fun fact there. But there you go. In this case, I extended my machine gun too far, should have retreated it. I'm also just really bad setup there, so I got punished by Dr.Beer very well. But there you go, Gunner's flanking up behind, trying to get the multi with the G43s. 5th caliber was out here for Dr.Beer, covering up his flank further. Good work there. You can see Zodiak switching over to support me in the west house here, deciding he's basically not going to have much of a chance as the half tech, so he's going to just try and back me up there. 2-2 up, plus a Jaeger Command Squad. Adding in some more serious forces there for Deutschland. 5th caliber growing points here down in the Allied base. We've got a lot of troops reinforcing. No ambulance hit for either player. But we can see there that Dr.Beer is getting an ambulance of his own, and most likely Artavick will make use of it as well. So to do firing up, got the half turn in there, got telemines down here from Zodiak, very good spot. Though he might have gotten seen there by the end, we got recent creep up for the point there. Jaeger Command Squad sitting out there for the German army, got the anti-aircraft blasting away here. Probably expecting telemines there, but doesn't find any. Sprinting up here to try and wipe the 5th caliber, then probably going to pop a smoke grenade to attempt to, but it might not be in time because the 5th caliber is extremely mobile. And there you go. Still going to try it. At least just to stall the re-echelons a bit. They give more time for other forces to arrive here, since he's going to still be focusing there, meaning the flank is exposed. So that's why smoke grenades can also be great. Like, smoke has really a lot of utility in the game, which you feel to an extent is still unexplored. But there you go. Someone actually using the smoke grenade on the Jaeger Command Squad. Thumbs up to me. 5th caliber setting up there. No, there's actually the MG42 still for me, never mind. Machine gun falling back. He has realised that's an exposed position. Reason then low on health. Need to retreat before I get another re-echelon wipe. In fact, I might be getting it here. Got the anti-aircraft coming up here for Artavick. Re-echelon's wiped. 2 moving in. In the Zodiac still remains a bit on the defensive here. Rifleman setting out. 2-2 waiting out here. Kind of trying to see if I can't somehow catch the anti-aircraft take off guard. But right now I'm under attack from both Artavick and Dr.Beer. Zodiac here is clearly trying to coordinate his forces for another push, but meanwhile that means I'm getting very brutally attacked. Tackle going on. I'm going to try and hit for tier 3 already. In some ways a bit risky, but at the same time, if I don't push for armor as soon as possible, I'm going to get a lot of trouble. There you go. Catching the anti-aircraft with a 2-2. Going in fast here, trying to get around. Get out of its arc of fire, and there you go, getting in front of it. And then the pathing sort of screws up, leading me to lose my 2-2 to the anti-aircraft half track. Rather unfortunate there. Anti-aircraft falling back. They're going to trying to sprint to Panzerfaust. It sadly does not work out. Zodiac, they're going to move in from the other side, taking advantage of the enemy's high focus on me. Very good work there. Machine gun and the modifier again. And I lost another Grenadier squad, and I'm actually really short on infantry. In fact, I'm the player with the least forces on the field. I mean, this is a bit of what happens again. The player suddenly decides not to push a lot, and the other one gets focused down. He will suffer heavily in the process. So right now it's basically up to Zodiac to carry the final course. That means he now risks the one, suffering a lot. So I gotta keep pushing, even with my highly depleted force, to ensure Zodiak does not get his face punched in afterwards. Going out with a Pack 40 up to with the anti-aircraft half-track, the Panzer Artavick on a field stick, 50 caliber hanging back there. Push for the centre here, Grenadiers defending bravely with the light machine gun started hanging back with 18 kills. Good work by Zodiak. Now the push into this, got the Jaeger command squad out here. And we got the MD42 with the ambush camouflage, ready to back up if necessary. Trying to flank through here with the Grenadiers instead, encountering the 50 caliber. Pack 40 out here. I'm going to have to go for some Panzer Grenadiers, some good old fashioned German elite troops. Half track there, good to go again. We got take up there for Dr.Beer, pulling help with armour. Artavick not quite there due to the anti-aircraft half track, but since Dr.Beer's yet to have to pay for that, of course, he can easily move ahead. Machine gun there doing what it reasonably does best. Support McCoy going up there. We still some time off from it, but still better to have it ready so it can just pop out something at the first opportunity here. And going for a mortar for some artillery support to help deal with the increasing amount of allied support weapons I'm facing, plus can be useful as the infantry. In the centre here, Zodiak moves up with infantry, Pack 40 backing up in the east, and these moving up with the light machine gun. Machine gun out there for Zodiak, he also lost one, so we actually both lost a machine gun there. Mortar fire raining down. Yeah, command squad advancing, backed up there by the MD42 right on the flank, getting a bit skittish there. We got the Grenadiers ready as well. Effects put up, but there you go, machine gun suppressing the advancing Jaeger command squad. And there you go, machine gun just retreating, realising the flank is compromised and it doesn't have any chance of the reposition in a better spot before it gets rushed, in which case it likely gets murdered. So rather than waste another machine gun to them, they just retreated. Mortar fire raining down here, not landing a lot of hits, but still getting some damage in against the armies. Overall, both me and Zodiak have been more or less penned in a small quarter of the map. We are not giving up, we are fighting the good fight for the fatherland. At least moderately decent. Point there being secured. Up here, Support McCop, he's also building at one as well. We're going to try and push out armor. In fact, he can probably push out something faster than me. Ostwind, Panzer IV, Stug. We shall see what ends up with the silly fire raining down on the machine gun. Use half check with rifle moving up, Grenadiers being pushed back. And another push for the Western fuel for the fatherland. Though again, I am critically strong infantry, really should be doing something about replenishing these losses. There you go, heading for the fuel point. Dr.Beer is a bit depleted, is not quite moving in there. So far, no other player but me has chosen a doctrine. So I'm basically the only player with some seemingly longer term plan. Using my teammates' medic bunker because there's not really much point in me building one. I feel in a lot of situations when there's things getting really tense. Pioneers getting actually blasted there by the rifle and the anti-aircraft half-tack. Building a fuel cache here, by the way, to support me and my teammates since we're being denied a lot of fuel. A fuel cache, while of course is not going to immediately fix the situation, can in the longer term still alleviate the problem. It's like a band-aid on an open leg wound. It's not really going to fix it, but it's better than nothing. Maybe, I'm not a doctor, in fact it might actually make it worse. Either way, fuel cache up, smoke screen down the machine gun, good work here by Dr.Beer. Rifle Lieutenant fighting against the air command squad. A quick rifle grenade attempt to hit fire, also raining down machine gun repositioning and trying to stop this allied avalanche of death. Pack 4 there, mortars. Oh, we got grenades off as well here for Dr.Beer. Really just setting up some aggressive plays. Sherman on the way there for Dr.Beer as well. Zodiak clearly setting up for the Panzer IV. Yeah, command squad fire for the MD42. And the pack gets wiped. Not good. In fact, just as the tank arrives here. I'm going to be going for Stug because I know I'm going to get hit by tanks and I'm going to need a Stug. Like, anything else is just a dream at the moment. So I'm going to have to go for the Stug as soon as I can. At least I'm hoping I'm going for a Stug here. I mean, it could try and stall for the Panzer IV obviously in some ways, but there we go. Sturmgeschütz on the way. Meanwhile, Zodiak there is... Oh, he's also going for the Stug, realising, you know what? We need Sturmgeschütz. Badly. So right now the 116th Panzer Division is having a really rough time of it. Machine gun sitting up there, ambushing right away. Still need more infantry though. 2 infantry squads is just not enough, with all these American troops running about. There we go, incendiary pistol launcher of the MD-42, which does not use the German moving in. Pack 40 is a bit crude. Stug almost done there. Almost. 49 still flanking in the Sherman tank. In these, not much is happening there. We can see sort of a bit of skirmishing between Zodiak and Artavick, but not really a lot of progress is happening. Got sandbags up here. Not a lot of mines either there from Artavick. You should consider some. There, at least some anti-vehicle mines. Sherman's heading out here. Back here we got Stug ready there for Zodiak. No pinlock machine gun, whereas I go for the pinlock machine gun as soon as possible because it's actually helpful in packing up your infantry. Punch gun the other way there. Pack 40 crew got some brave pioneers in the centre here. Zodiac's pioneers are desperately fighting for their lives as the Americans just keep piling on there. And we got another tank out this time from Artavick. Second Armoured strikes hard for freedom. Accelerating down. And there goes Sturmgeschütz flanks here. Gets off a decent hit on the Sherman, forcing out to pull back. 50 caliber still remaining an issue. Very big wave assault here by Artavick against Zodiak here, who's got nothing to cover up against with. His machine guns though setting up. And he's going up for another machine gun to help stall Artavick's massive infantry assaults. Very good decision there. Stug pushing back the 50 caliber using its machine gun and of course threatening German technology. My god. What kind of technology is this? I don't know, Carl, but we gotta retreat. It is light years ahead of us. What's a light year? I don't know, but it sounds important. Panzer assaulting the mortar crew as well there. Storming forwards for Germany. Got the Sherman there covering up. And wiped the mortar, but I can't grab a nut with the Sherman about there. In fact, had I tried it, I likely would have lost the panzer grenadiers. Artillery fire raining down here. Lots of major artillery there by the Allies. Pack repositioning mortar bit as well. Stug the rate held up against the Allied advance. Zodiak still not bringing his Sturmgeschütz with the Maschinengewehr. Machine gun coming as the rifleman. Stug hanging back there. Lieutenant dealing with it. Ooh, grenade off, almost wiping out there. Zodiac's Grenadier squad. Heading for the western field there with a few plucky Grenadiers. Stug moves through the muck. In case some Sherman tank tries its luck. In the east, Zodiak makes another push, but without sufficient support, it is east repulse. He's going to need a mortar, I think, to have a better chance to pull off some really good flank. Of course, I need to get my mortar back in action. American mortar, there we go. We got the MD-42 joining in the fun for America. Point there being secured. Stug moving ahead here, and there goes shot from the Sherman, but misses. Jackson on the way there for Dr.Beer. And Jaeger Command's put it flanking in, popping a smoke grenade. Almost timed perfectly actually before the machine gun gets to fire at it. Close, but not quite there. Still, didn't get enough shots, and they shouldn't be suppressed for too long. Should allow me to actually get them unsuppressed and then sprint to get past the machine gun here. There we go. And then there's a Sherman in the way. But, you know, at least I sort of forced that to retreat. Major calling another to the bash around the Pack 40. Stug moving ahead here to try and take advantage of the Sherman, likely going after the Jaeger Command Squad. Gets a good hit there with 75 mm cannon on the Sherman. Pack got wiped again. Pack certainly does not have long in this world at the time. Panzer Army trying to support there briefly. We get their Zodiak now pushing up very hard. Going to try and flank up with the Zone Stug. Again, without machine gun, it's not much of a threat to the infantry support weapons about there. I mean, he can still shoot at it. It has a slight chance of hitting it, but no, he's just using it to try and crush the cover, at least the infantry. I mean, that's the way to use it as well. Stug setting out there, close to veterans. One other machine gun away from me to help contain all this infantry. The Americans obviously very fond of the infantry. It's sort of one of the key elements. And Dr.Beer goes for Airborne. This late though? I'd definitely say that is pretty late. Still, I mean, paratroops are all on great infantry. I do feel like they're underestimated by a lot of players, but they are pretty solid. But I do feel like Dr.Beer would have benefited a lot from them a lot sooner. Rather than sending out their Grenadiers hiding with ambush camouflage, and of course they benefit from it quite nicely. So as you might notice here, right from it, immediately kills one guy, somebody with the ability, then they go second man also dead in a matter of seconds. Note that rifle squad was more or less at full health. So I mean, ambush camouflage, you know, any upgraded grenadiers or machine guns or panzer grenadiers is actually a really powerful ability. I mean, I keep saying it, but I just want to reiterate, ambush camouflage is a very potent ability if used correctly. Jackson here backed up, a Sherman. We got the other Jackson up here, Stu doing what he can for the fatherland, raking the Americans with righteous Maschinengewehr fire. There you go, rather than the fire quick suppressed by the other MD-42A command squad charging in to finish off the armies. Mortar fire raining down close here. 40 backing up if necessary, and there you go, Rathman pushed back in the east. Zodiak is making slight progress, but he's not very successful. He's still fighting around the centre. ImperialDane just to keep my flank closed up, and also just use me as a way to cover his flank up as well. Paratroop again, but taking loss there from the air command squad as well. I'm actually just going for a second Stu because in this situation, if you're going for one Stu, you generally want another Stu. Zodiak hereby has gone for Jaeger Armour, so now it's only Artavick who is left without a doctrine. Here's the odd dock out. And there you go, very nice flank here from Zodiak. Wipes out Dr.Beer's mortar troop. Excellent work there. Excellent work. And he can technically call one of these resources for it, but man, that's going to be his next play there. So he's going to go for Stu, then an elephant. That's definitely a bit of a higher magnitude than what I'm planning here with just double Stooks again. Double Stooks is quite potent versus most armor if you know how to use the double Sturmgeschütz. And little Basil is here again. And he seems to be in hyperactive kitty mode. Hyperactive kitten mode. There you go, showing an attack on the west side here. With him support, almost getting machine guns through, taking fire. They got the Pack 40 covering up there. Dextrate and the Jackson machine gun setting up here. Panzer, they're not going to be able to make it in time. Getting ambush camouflage for them because they do benefit from it as well. And there you go, double shoots going here for the Sherman. I'm not too worried about a few shots there from the Jackson. We can just get the Sherman, even though he gets the Stug. I mean, it's still going to be more profitable for me than it is from, in this case, Jackson misses him, so just firing at max range on the move, which really makes it difficult to hit stuff. Check the Stug, which is actually bigger than it was in real life. The Stug 3 was actually a much smaller assault gun, and it was actually one of its advantages, just actually pretty small and hard to hit because of it. Major moving hit there for another artillery strike calling. I mean, it's pretty cheap, so you can just keep doing it, and of course he knows that. More pioneers, unless I realise most of my Stu's actually quite dinged up and I need more than one. He's lost all of his pioneers by relying on me to repair his armour a bit there for a while. Machine gun needs to be recruited though. Looks like Zodiac's now up to 3. Might actually have captured some of his. Maybe stolen one enemy. Artavick continues to play a nice defensive game there with a bit more pressure here and there as I'm just pushing forwards. Dr.Beer with another assault. Machine guns and all that being moved in. Ow. Basil viciously clawing at my arm. Well, viciously and viciously. He's a kitten, so I mean... It's not like I'm being assaulted by a tiger. Back forward they're covering up still versus any Jacksons. We've got a pre-start here for Artavick who's gone for infantry. Very late infantry. Most players would usually choose them much sooner than get some light machine guns on the rifle. You still can in theory, but usually want them faster out. Most American players in that situation will just, you know, almost blob them up and that way push out aggressively with them. So I'm a bit surprised that Artavick ends up choosing it so late and more or less just for the priest. Though there has been an increase, I think, in over American players just going for infantry just for the priest. We got a Scott out for Dr.Beer instead. Afraid apparently of going for another Sherman in the face of the double Stug. Going for a flak punch, and fuel wise we're still not doing amazingly, so I'm just going to go for the option to help you with the infantry, plus, you know, could be useful as air support. Stug opening up for the fatherland. There you go, big push here from Dr.Beer. No Thompsons on the paratroopers. Personally, I prefer those to the Browning light machine. Of course, are potent. It is nonetheless double Browning light machine guns. That really packs a punch. Stug moving with panzer support halfway to Vector 2 by the way. Pound of troopers there being shredded by the incendiary armor piercing rounds, leaving no survivors. Jack's moving about here. We got a 5th cover hanging about here, covering up. Osman almost done. Panzer there sweeping up the suppressed troops. Tank through them with righteous fire. There you go. Artillery fire ring down as well there. Almost taking out the machine gun crew, but not quite. In the east, you can see Artavick with a massive build-up, but he's not really pushing very hard. He starts to give Zodiak the possibility to build up his force and more easily stall, I think, for the Elephant tank destroyer. Panzer this sweeping through here for Germany. Scott moving up to push back those dastardly Krauts. We got the Stook here slowly pulling it, trying to scout any things to sort of deal with them. I mean, double Stooks versus Jackson is very much in favour of the Stooks. In this case, the anti-tank gun, which is a very good counter to the Stook, it does force them to pull back with the Stooks. Otherwise, if not for the anti-tank gun, I would just pushed ahead. Easy. Zodiak is moments away there from the Elephant Tank Destroyer, and there we go. Schwerer Panzerjäger from the 654th Schwerer Panzerjäger Abteilung. Commit support here for the 116th Panzerdivision Windhund. Elephant rolling out, spotting scopes on the way for it. Noting he's actually not ready to do with anything, not spotting scopes nor the pinlock machine gun. Gun is engaged by the Sherman. Victory points wise, small lead here for the Americans or the German army. Still, the situation is certainly somewhat different from just, say, 10 minutes ago. Austrian flak panzer there, ready to provide vital support against American infantry and aircraft. So, Jürgen, ja, do you remember sometimes the Luftwaffe was actually saying, yeah, so was the times. Yeah, now we have to do something like they don't. Air recon's out here from Zodiak. Nice work of that one, by the way. Helps me and himself, of course. Elephant there with its high velocity 8mm gun. Prepare to let pin down. And Scott firing the machine gun. Stooks there ready with the Pat 40 in tow as well. Calling another artillery barrage here on the machine guns there. In the east, Zodiak is making a push with the Stook Infantry and the Elephant Tank Destroyer, ready to blast apart any American armour. In the west, pushing for the fuel, we got the machine gun and the Austrian air tank through the armies. Like, what's it? I can't remember. Dysentery through Victoria and London? Huh. And it's moving up, the Elephant falling back. Stook also falling back as it's much more heavily damaged. And certainly will not be able to stand much more from the enemy. Moving up for the anti-tank guns, machine guns. And there goes back at work here versus then calling in the smokes from the machine gun. Gonna make a push here. I don't actually know the anti-tank gun here, but it's actually going to work out great and also obfuscating the anti-tank and allowing me to hit my Stooks here. So there we go. Scott almost taken out. Jackson isolated here with the Stooks. Got it, a few hits in there. Anti-tank though, I'm just going to fall back to the Sturmgeschütz here. Not going to push my luck too far. In this case though, pathing error, so just lose the Stook, the more veteran one, sadly. At least they got a Scott and pushed away his forces here. Flanked past the machine gun with the gun. It is a bit slow. They're getting the infantry move. Had I been faster with the infantry and coordinated better, I probably would have been able to do a lot more damage to the Dr.Beer. Sadly, that did not happen. Close again, machine gun here. They're away from the armies, and they're going to tank and crew wiped out. Building up a heavy panzer corps here. Deciding I kind of need something with a slightly more armor and a bigger gun. Elephant moving up here though for Zodiak, looking for more American panzers to smash to pieces. Panzer Grenadier setting out. Remaining Stook hanging back, and we got the Austrian as well there, half health. Pushing up here, flanking behind, actually doing some damage here around the cut-off point. They're running into double machine guns. Calling a Stook a bomb drop. I'm not entirely sure where. And the east, wiping out a machine gun crew there from Artavick. Very good work there by Dr.Beer. Lots of took on the west here. Another push. We got the flak panzer ready to deal with any Yankees trying to advance a bit too far there. And the flak panzer makes mincemeat out of them. 37mm flak does not give a shite about rank. It murders everyone indiscriminately. That is why I like the flak. The flak hates everyone equally. So flak is admirable. In east of the Jaeger Infantry machine guns, all just a bit of a mess here for Zodiak. Not the best coordinated assault machine gun there, just gets wiped here by a huge wave of bars. As the bar wave advances. So he sets light creeping up through the centre here. We can see that Dr. Beer's now got 2 jacks, but he's also a bit more exposed here. He's a bit more in a corner position himself now. And he's simply upgrading machine guns back. Bit more time for falling any armour. I'm probably going to build myself another fuel cache because I've got plenty of manpower, which of course will also benefit Zodiak, which of course is the plan. In the east they're showing with it machine gun support, they're flashing out Zodiac's Pioneers. In the west, Dr.Beer getting ready for something there. And the they're getting absolutely obliterated by the Gundys and the Jaeger Command Squad, being behind on the paratroopers. Traumatized as the comrades got shot to bits. Artillery called in here trying to cast a machine gun. In this case the Dr.Beer reacts with excellent timing. Gets the devil out of there. And the Fire East Jackson drilling out here with the Sherman as well. Stroop taking hits though. Stug, Osman moving forward, the infantry backing it up. We got the fuel cache up here. There's going to be 2 fuel caches up. Infantry moving forwards. Jackson hit from the Stug. Need to be careful there. Into tank and also exposure to try and clear that out. Rifling it off here. They probably should just be smoking the machine with the Jaeger Command Squad actually failed to do so. Bit of a mistake on my behalf. Osman taking a lot of damage needlessly. Yep, I can't have messed up with that infantry element there. Messed up. Should have just sprinted the Jaeger Command Squad, hitting them to smoke the machine gun. In which case we easily just dealt with the anti-tank gun and possibly tried to steal a turn against the Americans. Up north he can lose in the fire. Zodiac once more find himself losing ground in the face of Artavick's vicious infantry assaults. Return there suppressed. And Zodiac here going for tier 4 as well. The double fuel caches does provide a bunch more extra fuel, 6 fuel per minute more, plus other bits to ensure we're getting a lot more fuel than our opponents, which certainly helps towards pulling towards out the Panther here, which I want, plus anything else I might need. Elephant setting out once more for Zodiac. No elephants really fought on the western front. They fought in Italy, I believe, but mostly on the eastern front. The Czech soldiers primarily fought on the western front was actually the Yak Panther. In fact, they'd only really saw service on the eastern front like from February 1945 onwards. Another push here from Dr.Beer in the west, Lieutenant Rifle, and their paratroopers hanging back in reserve just in case, say, some flak punters nearby or something else. More punts are going to be out here since I realise I need more infantry. And there you go, Lieutenant moving forwards there, grenade off the machine gun, getting blasted by the Osman though. Machine gun wipe there, 6 kills on the flak panzer, 7 kills. Got air support called in here though. Stug to any flank, Panther almost done, need to fall back here. There you go, Panzerkampfwagen 5 effectsbereit. Stug there, getting blasted with rockets. Flak Panther trying to take out those P-47s. Not quite succeeding so far. Not quite succeeding so far. And lost a unit there, the Pioneers bit the dust, still firing down here on the machine gun. And the Panzerkanone. In this case it would be Artavick's priest there supporting Dr.Beer's assault. Yeah, Command got Panzers packed for them in forties and don't have to worry about the P-47s. We've got a machine gun here, need to clear that out swiftly or smoke it, neutralise it one way or the other. In this case just shooting it to bits, clearly. There you go, Pedro's forced retreat as well, we got the Scot nearby. More Pioneers on the way for the fatherland. So it's got enough fuel there for a Panther or Sturm Panther, what he wants. He's almost got the manpower as well. Grab the 50 caliber here, at least attempting to do so, to turn against the army, so also just deny it to Dr.Beer, since I really don't want him knocking about with those. And we got another priest out here for Artavick. I feel like more priests here might in fact be a bit too much. You should probably consider more Shermans, something a bit more offensive. Another Stuka bomb drop off here. This time the Artavick has learned and ensures his men do not get absolutely evaporated by what amounts to a, what's it, yeah, 50 kilo bomb. Rifle moving up. Troops reinforcing and moving over there to the medic bunker to heal. Sturmgeschütz getting fixed up. Pound hanging back so far. No point to commit it until we're ready to make a big push with it. As with a lot of Jacksons about, it just risks becoming a really big target that feeds the tank destroyers, you know, lots of experience. So since it does get wasted, sometimes you just gotta accept those in these situations, particularly on a map like Crossing and most there's less room to maneuver. In this situation, it comes down to just being able to execute the sorts well, and this is actually where I realised I'm actually a Bobcat. I hadn't realised this. So I suddenly found myself with way too many units, which actually makes it difficult for me to maintain my infantry in a good fighting size. So I gotta make an assault with less than well prepared infantry. Hoping just things don't fall apart, which is a bit silly. In East, Zodiak continues a bit here along the road. He's not making so many big moves. Mode 9, there's Artavick. Well, he's always making infantry pushes. Until firing down in the Zodiac's positions. Got the flak panzer moving ahead to scout out for infantry. Big 2 points wise now. There's a small lead for the German army. Also got a Stuka close air support ready, so my plan is basically to flank up here with the armor, get behind the allied armor, then call in the Stuka close air support. That way, you know, try and catch as many with them with the Stukas, rather than just what most people do, which is just call in somewhere and then the tanks can easily escape. But if you sort of force them to stick around longer there, you might have a better chance of actually getting, you know, some kills in with that. You can see the Dr.Beer slightly pulling back his Jackson, might be able to realise I might be up to something. Also reinforcing some of my troops a slightly better position, condition. So they're moving up the eastern side. He is going for a Panzerwerfer. Or armoured thrower. No, there's also a version used by the Waffen SS that fire Katyusha rockets. Fun fact. Panther Stu, they're good to go. Flak Panther, they're joining in, forcing back the rifleman. 10 kills. Got the machinery up, set up and cover the advance. Need to get as much ready here. There's going to be a big push, so need sufficient force to really carry through. This is sort of the big part of a good assault. It has, you know, at least some sort of weight behind it. Gravitas. And it's starting to look like here Dr.Beer might sort of realising, hang on, there's no crowds about. They might be up to something. Troops moving about here. Infantry setting up. Flak Pants going up to get aircrons out there for Zodiak. Zodiak moving up the eastern side. Panzer for Barashov, and there you go. I'm waiting for something. There's some indication he's beginning to commit a bit more. And there you go, moves up the Jackson, seems to be moving forwards. I might like to get spot here, but still I'm going to go for it. Now it is go time for Germany, and there you go. Under fire here, need to keep pushing. Vorwärts, vorwärts. Blitzkrieg. There you go, moving in. Scott hit. Jackson Scott moving in. There you go. Calling in the Stuka close air support now as the trap springs. Got the Osprey moving in from the front here just to further cause havoc and draw in more attention to it. Stuka close there, firing in with the 30 cannons. Almost got the Jackson. Jackson down. Jackson down. Scott cleared the next target. Jackson taking more hits. Crewman flying in the air. Panther lone health. Aircraft shot down. Still getting enough damage here. Field. Jackson taking more hits. Be careful. The Panther got the Jackson moving in. Both aircraft shot down. I'm not entirely sure, but actually they don't have a lot of anti-aircraft guns. Oh, the anti-aircraft tower attack was actually better than the Ostwind. In fact, most vehicles at anti-aircraft are actually better than the Ostwind shooting down aircraft. Fun fact, but there you go. I actually managed to get away with both the Stuka, the Ostwind, and the Panther, while taking out a Scott and a Jackson, and an ambulance. Plus forcing away Dr.Beer from those areas. That I would say is a pretty well executed assault, and again sort of highlights what I say when you're trying to launch an attack from the flank, but also just have some small bits to draw attention, just further take advantage, then try to reposition to meet the flank. Yeah, then push forward from the other angle, that way completely disrupting things. It's also where I feel like, you know, you really used to do close support, not just, you know, calling willy-nilly, but you try to coordinate as part of a bigger assault, and that's, you know, how the Germans did. They just concentrate maximum force at a weak spot, that way overwhelming the enemy totally. So you could say that was as historical as possible in campaign to a degree. At least on this bloody smaller map as it is. Osman there though, halfway to Veteran 2, 13 kills for Das Vaterland. Zodiac's Elephant moving up here, Panzerwerfer moving about as well there with 4 kills so far. Nothing to write home about. And we got him moving up here for a flank. Got another ambulance out here for Dr.Beer. And the Osman goes down to the anti-tank gun. But there you go. Jaeger's flanking. Machine gun there flanking. I'm actually going for the cop on him, just trying to frustrate Artavick here, leaving him feeling less secure, which might just give more room here for Zodiak to push forward through there. But there you go, huge Yankee block moving forward. Need to retreat the Panzer under his Schnell. In fact, it might just be too late there already with all those BARs. Dope Stu being fixed up, Panther being fixed up. Jaeger's flanking, got the Stug moving up, the bit pin up machine gun, Raf grenade off, blasting at the armies. And the East Zodiac's assault now moving in here, assaulting Artavick's positions of the Second Army. That's the 115 Panzerdivision Streiks. So a bit of too far the ring down here from Artavick to try and break it up. Air recon's out again from Zodiac, Stug pushing back the infantry there. I still got most of my infantry squad to the fort, still operable, need them healed up. Stug moving up, they're very close to Veteran 2. Still no upgrades on it though, and I'm calling in a 2 barrage. I think we'll see yet to try and stop this false position. Pioneer's getting shredded. And because they're doing the machine out in the open. That's pretty much something they're going to do. They're going to win them as the heavy machine gun crew. It's going to be a bit close. There you go, Stug moving up, but without a pin-up machine can't immediately help. Could go for a Sturmpanzer, could go for another Panther. Quite a few options there available for me. Could also go for the Panzerwerfer. In fact, there's probably like a Popcat for at the moment. So he's got a lot of fuel. He's not really spending his resource on anything there. You could theoretically go for another Panzerwerfer, I guess, or the Sturmpanzer. 114 was on 88. There's this lieutenant. You can see the Dr.Beer shifting towards him, put pressure there, but got a lot of infantry ready to counterattack. And I still got my armor there, which could be doing a bit more for me, to be honest. Mortar firing down there. 10 kills on my gun. We got a big plume of smoke here. Well, we do actually have mines there from Artavick. Very good, very good. Stands up the Sturmgeschütz a bit. Fresh air recons there from Zodiac. He loves calling that in. And I'm actually building up a munitions cache here to support me and Zodiac more, because we got more fuel than can be used now. That's sort of thing that, you know, 2 fuel caches. At some point you actually just end up with so much fuel you can't use it fast enough, unless you're like throwing away tanks left and right. So that's got to be the sort of thing. But at that point, of course, we don't need more munitions or fuel. We need more munitions for the abilities, like, you know, more super close air support, more artillery barrages, bomb drops and whatnot. So at this stage, building munitions caches is actually more helpful than, you know, more fuel caches. Back here we got Artavick's artillery firing. It's actually not done a lot of damage as such. German's been doing more work there for Artavick. Dr.Beer starting about with Dr. Jackson's. Great for supporting, but not necessarily good for attacking with as such. And honestly, I think a pair of Shermans are better up, because they can lay down smoke and they can allow them to push forwards easily. And he's rather lacking that. He is rather lacking that. Machine coming up from there, should pop it into the heavy cover nearby. 12 kills in that mortar. Big push here from Dr.Beer towards the centre. Zodiac holding off against that nicely. Slow push, but sadly not fully successful. Getting ready for another push here. Moving up the infantry, lining up. Armour being prepared as well. I mean, the double Jacksons just make it hard for me to be aggressive without necessarily setting up really well. I've just been about my tanks, willy-nilly. They get shot to pieces by the Jacksons. So what I need to do in these situations is actually set up preparatory attacks, smoke screens, infantry coordination, everything possible. And then I push ahead, which is basically what I'm doing here. That way I can negate the Jackson's range as much as possible, make it hard for them to use machine guns, allow them to pull ahead, or of course also negating an anti-tank gun. So, again, the double Jacksons necessitate a lot more effort than you're just making an attack. And go Jackson negates with the Panther Stoop with the anti-tank gun nearby, and not quite able to neutralise it. I'm forced to fall back. You also got the P-47, which is further make it a bit difficult for me to do anything there. Parties need to retreat as well. Infantry slightly screening the retreat before they themselves fall back. So I get out of then pretty quickly. I mean, he was able to use the P-47 to break up the attack, and you can use the abilities defensively. But still, had I not just, driven in there completely, just aimlessly, I probably just lost. Panzer get wiped. For some reason, they did not get the retreat order. There might have been too much going on. Some other issue. Either way, they got wiped. A loss for the German army. Panzer is very, very close. 52, and the Stoop is reasonably close to Veteran 3. Zodiac continues on the eastern side here. Sturmpanzer out to back up the Stug. Finally, time mixed up with the 5th gun, and we got the Elephant now halfway to Veteran 2. It's actually getting some kills. It's actually killing more infantry than tanks, though, with its whole machine gun. Sturmpanzer, and there you go. Machine gun's going to get utterly obliterated here. You got a big push here from Dr.Beer moving up all his tanks for support here in the east. Panther halfway fixed. Doing for a Panther, if they deal with some of these support weapons, can be useful, though there's also the argument you should just go for the Sturmpanzers, and it sort of works better than just providing more support during an engagement. Rather than just the shot barrage. Plus you can take more hits. Another stupid drop off here from Zodiac. Seems to be around here. Panzer out here. And the Panther is gefechtsbereit once more. Ready to strike fear into the hearts of the enemies of Germany. Lots of rocket fire here. The Lieutenant almost obliterated. Another push here, this time though backed up by the mächtige Panzerwerfer. I just need something to werfe that. Dr.Beer beginning to invest more into Scots. Interesting enough, no Shermans at all there for Dr.Beer. No Shermans. Panther moving in. Stug, infantry, Pack 40. In this case, I actually put the Pack 42 far ahead, making it easier for the paratroopers just to gun down the crew. That was a mistake by me. I mean, the idea was, again, just going to shoot the Jacksons as soon as they get spotted, but obviously I hadn't factored in the paratroopers. That was really silly done by me. Really silly. Next we got Zodiac moving ahead again here. Scott almost done. Troops getting suppressed, blasted. Apparently the fighting position and the defense position can actually cover all the way over there. I really hate that personally. There's some of these base defenses just cover actually significant parts outside of the bloody base. It feels a bit wrong and a bit annoying, since it does limit what you can actually do. There you go, paratroopers out in the open getting shredded by so many machine guns, including the one here. And another Stuka close air support is ready. I've also got 400 fuel because I got so much fuel I don't know what to do with it. And that's what happens when you get double fuel catch up. At some point, and again as you're throwing away tanks, you're just going to end up with some more fuel they can use. My Panzer revolvers yet to fire. I'm waiting for the right target to appear. There you go, Panzer firing, anti-tank gun spotted, gonna get obliterated. At least attempt it over it, really. In this case, my Panzer, it seems, was a bit too far away to get any sort of good concentration off on the rockets. And these Zodiacs was bound to continue. See, Elephant, Sturm, Panzer, Stug, they're a bit damaged. The Allies, well, the tank destroyers are great at sort of pushing it back, but they can't really, well, holding back the Germans, they can't really make any great advances using all these jacks. They lack tanks. They lack tanks, or at least a lot of infantry to make this work, and they just don't have any of those too, by the looks of it. Machine gun, yeah, command's going out with 26 kills. Machine gun getting blasted, Jackson moving out. Yeah, command squad getting blasted. Elephant setting up, close to veterans 2. Sturm Panzer very, very close to veterans 1. Well, sadly not quite achieving it. But there you go, veterans 1 gained. Got Jackson got Sherman up as well there. As Dr.Beer remains very much in the defensive. Very much in the defensive. Rockets indiscriminately flung down, but not quite hitting anything. Just not quite hitting it. We got more aircons out of Zodiac. Once more looking at Allied position. Panther fixed up, Stu fixed up, and there you go. Panther barrels off here. Trying to catch the ones on the centre victory point. Down to 55, by the way. More of a devastating barrage this time, and half the Patriot squad is just evaporated in a matter of moments. Hey, Sarge! Sarge! Where did you go, Sarge? Corporal Timmy? God damn, everybody else is gone. Another still close support, this time just in the midst of everything, just to sort of disrupt them. Causing chaos as they then push forward from the west. Of course, immediately gets shot down by the anti-aircraft. Oh, it's actually not crewed. CoH2, Panther moving forwards there. Jackson's getting blasted there. P-47 called in to counter this. John Jackson down. Scott almost taken out. And there you go, about to lose the Panther. But in this situation, even to lose the veterans, I just got so many resources. I can easily afford to replace the Panther if I want to. In fact, I end up calling in 2, though. Theoretically, just calling a lot of Stooges, to be honest. Elephant opening up the Sherman. The Allies are very much in the defensive now, pushed back to the very edge of the base. Their force composition further crumbling like a poorly made cake or poorly built house, crumbling away. So they're just now repairing everything back in the base here, whatever was left of it. Looks like he by finally went for Sherman there. Sturm Panzer moving up there, bombarding here. Almost wiping out the machine gun crew. They're very, very, very close to Veteran 2 as well here. Though Zodiac right now is better than infantry compared to they do have more. First Panther almost done. At which point I actually realised around here that, you know, I'll probably just go for a bunch of Stooges rather than double Panthers. Come on, Dane, do it, do it. We need more Sturmgeschütz. Paratroopers, oh, versus the Jaeger command squad, 30 kills there. The paratroopers got 19. Then Nizzle's banging up with an machine with 45 kills. Looks like Artavick has been feeding him a lot there. Artavick has also flown a lot of resources, partly because his force composition doesn't really allow for a lot else. He's also, yeah, I mean, he's got so much artillery which just eats up a surprise large amount of it. I mean, that's 30 pop cap just on the artillery, which is almost 1/3. That's kind of the issue there. If you do end up in a bad situation, then you can't really get back into it. Like in that regard, artillery does have some flaws there with its downtime, which means, of course, if you're not careful, you can actually end up sitting up in a bad position. That seems to be what's happened here with Artavick. He's basically painted himself into a corner to a certain degree. There we go. Sturmgeschütz on the way into the Panthers. Sturmpanzer receiving Infantry 2. You got Panzers out here for Zodiak. And setting up for another push in the west against Dr.Beer. .38 points left for the Americans. They're fighting desperately. They're fighting hard. But is it going to be enough? Is it going to be enough? Needs to more skirmishing out. They got the Elephant closing in on Veterinary 3 actually. Another Panzer barrage there. Stug Panther hanging back there, waiting for the other ship to arrive. Should also get the Panther machine gun. Yeah, things are just crumbling here. Steadily for the Allies. Barely an infantry left for Dr.Beer. Artavick's got a bit more, but it's not looking frightfully good there either. .25 points left for the Allies. Big push here from Artavick, launches it all forwards. No smoke screens though from the Shamley. Definitely should have considered that with the decreased incoming fire. But so he goes forward, swarming here. The Elephant tank destroyer, forcing me to route in my armor here to support him. A bit too slow to realize what's going on. All in push here from the Allies. Elephant down. Sturmpanzer going to be down any moment now. Stug Panther moving up here. A bit slow. Takes a bit of time to navigate from the west towards the centre due to the way the map is built up. But there you go. Panzerfaust there. Stug Panther moving in. Sherman about to go down here. Great big armoured slaughter. There you go. Jackson moves in, gets the Stug knocked out. But he's going to lose the Jackson. That was an ace Jackson at that. Second Jackson almost down as well, if not down already. And there you go. Several Jacksons down. Artavick now just begins to churn out those Shermans. He's got so much fuel. But he's got not enough of everything else. Dr.Beer going to push out another Jackson, but the Allies find their armour forces completely just clipped. 10 points left here. Pushing forward to the armour here. Infantry's going to follow up on it. Just going to attack into the base, I think, at this stage and just pressure them. Artillery fire raining down. Panzer there for unleashing hell. Scott almost down here. Ace Stug, 4 kills. 3 vehicles, 1 infantry. 4 points left for the Allies. Ambulance down. Going here for the priest. Priest down. 6 kills in the Stug. 2 kills for armour. Almost got the anti-aircraft half-track. There we go. Just tearing through the Allied remains. Sherman moving forward. Stug almost getting knocked out here though. Takes out another ambulance. Gains 10 kills before it goes up in smoke. Panther there. 4 kills, Veterans 1. Down the point here. Pushing for the site. Jaeger Command's being shredded. Another Stug on the way. 3 points left. 2. 1. And GG, game over. A victory for the German army. Hard fought, very bloody there with heavy casualties. In particular, Zodiak suffered quite heavily there, whereas I was actually able to do well, though of course he also killed a lot more than me in many ways. Overall casualties are somewhere, I mean that's definitely somewhere about 550 and then sort of roughly 400, so close to 1,000 casualties overall. A absolutely spectacular, bloody and epic 2 versus 2 right here in Crossing in the Woods with lots of damage done. Stugs there gaining over 1000% efficiency. Gandhi's just barely up there. Yeah, Command's got the pretty close. Mortar certainly also carried its part of the fight as well. So absolutely madcap fight here on Crossing in the Woods. Certainly highlighting the Americans are really powerful in the early game. Certainly pushed us back there with some good flanks. And then it was basically a very, very slow game of sort of turning around, pushing them away and that way, trying to destroy them. In part, I think the Allies would benefit more if they'd chosen doctrine sooner. They were very late in that department. Could have just made the early game even stronger, to be honest, made it much harder to bounce back from. But also just think they went for too many specialists and with not enough generals to sort of really carry the burden, in particular not enough Sherman tanks to lay down smoke screens to push ahead under those smoke screens, that way push ahead. I mean, in this case, the smoke screens were a large part of why I could actually make pushes, because due to the size of the map, smoke screens becomes more important to actually be able to push through aggressively. So I think there are definitely some issues there with the Allied tactics that they went on. They were very much relying just trying to win fast, and then once it's out, they just sort of hung on for as long as possible. It was like they're trying less to win and just not to lose, which just dragged out the fight there for some while. But it's still very brutal, very heavy casualties, and lots of Stoogs, Panthers, and more. So I hope you enjoyed this match. I hope you learned something from it. If you did, subscribe, like, share, comment on it. And of course, if you like to do, you can support by pledging on Patreon or donating via PayPal. Links in the video description. This is ImperialDane signing off. You all a wonderful audience. I hope to see you all tomorrow for a nice episode. Bye.